Bien, je vous remercie donc d'être revenu de votre pause. Donc, je me présente, Nicolas Fressengeas, Université de Lorraine. Donc, on va faire cette session en anglais puisque nos intervenants ne parlent pas tous français. So now I'll switch to English. So we've talked this morning about how AI can be used during the research process and during the research with how to conduct research and what was the precautions we had to take on it, and we had a very fruitful discussion at the end. So now we are going to start this session. So there will be a first talk by Tomáš Foltýnek, and afterwards there will be a round table which I will present you afterwards. So Tomáš Foltýnek will introduce the usage of AI in all the steps of the research process, starting from what we've seen this morning up to the end, which is publication of papers, data, and so on. So we'll start with him. So Tomáš, I see you're here. So Tomáš, you're an assistant professor at the Department of Machine Learning and Data Processing at the Faculty of Informatics and a member of the Ethical Committee for Research at your university. And you are the president of the board of the European Network for Academic Integrity. You're also vice chair of the Bureau of the Council of Europe's Pan-European Platform for Ethics, Transparency and Integrity in Education. And you're also the deputy head of the Working Committee on Ethics in Scientific and Pedagogical Work within the Council of Higher Education Institutions in your university, in your country. So it seems to me that, you are the right person to talk to us about the questions of research integrity and generative AI in all the process of research. So please, the floor is yours. And we can see.
Thank you very much for nice introduction. Can you hear me? Can you see me? Is everything clear?
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah. Good. I'm so sorry that I couldn't participate in person. I would very much. I would like to visit France again very much, but this semester is very busy for me, so I am able to join only at a distance, like online participant. But yeah, I hope that you will that my talk will be beneficial anyway. So I'm going to talk about three things. First, I would like to sum up the current debate about the ethical issues that are related to the use of generative AI in science. Then it will be, I think, the most boring part of my talk when I will talk actually what is the title of my presentation. So the ethical concerns of AI in different phases of a research project. Research process. And in the third part, I would like to give you some food for thought and think about the future when the research will be done mostly by AI rather than humans. So let's start with that summary of the current debate. So what are the most discussed topics right now? The order is just random. I got this from the paper of Emily Bender, Timnit Gebru, and other experts in the area. One of the very much discussed issue is energy consumption and consequent carbon footprint. Like right now, all these data centers that perform AI operations are responsible for slightly less than 1% of the world electricity, but there is an expectation that this number will grow, and by the end of this decade, we may end up with some almost 2% of the whole world's electricity consumption. So it's like a huge amount of electricity, and also given the sources of the electrical energy, the carbon footprint is considerable. Then there are some societal issues, digital divide, and so-called environmental racism. These language models and generative AI works best with English. So mostly the developed world, the already rich parts of the world benefit from that usage, but the poor part, the developing world, bears the negative consequences. Then there are societal changes at labor market. Large language models and generative AI are taking jobs or changing jobs significantly. So people who are less adaptable struggle with adaptation to this situation. Then there is impact on individuals. We may be more and more relying on the technology, depending on the technology, and lose the ability to solve the problem by ourselves. Become slowly more dumb and more dumb. Then there are some issues related to the content produced by generative AI. It learned from the old data that was biased. Everybody knows that. So there is a bias that is inherently embedded in the core of the language models, and it produces biased outputs. It may reinforce some harmful stereotypes. Even though the providers of the AI tools put significant effort to unbias their systems and try to make them fairer, there is still implicit bias inside. What is particularly important for scientific outputs are hallucinations and confabulations, which may lead to inaccuracies in these outputs. Yeah, so this roughly are the most important concerns. What it means to research integrity are particularly two values. First is responsibility that is related to that bias and inaccuracies. Because the outputs may be inaccurate or even incorrect, there is someone who has to take the responsibility of correcting that incorrect outputs. And it's not the AI tool, it's not the provider of the AI tool who takes the responsibility for the generated content. It should be always the user, the human that is using that system, who is responsible and who is currently supposed to check all AI's output. So basically, there is general agreement in the scientific community that AI tool cannot be listed as a co-author of a publication, because if you look at the guidelines of Committee for Publication Ethics, taking responsibility for the whole paper is one of the criterions for authorship. So that's responsibility. Second important value is transparency. It was a couple of months after ChatGPT was born. It was a paper or the editorial in the journal Accountability in Research, where the editors clearly stated that the researchers should disclose the use of the AI systems and indicate parts of the paper that was written or co-written by AI. And I believe that there is still general agreement in scientific community that we should be transparent about using of AI tools, and we should disclose it in the paper. But there is an argument against transparency, and it's related to trust. There were some experiments that showed that people trust less the messages if they know they are AI generated, including scientific papers. So if people don't trust the content, if they know it was AI generated, then being transparent here actually is disadvantageous for scientists. But that's the situation where we are. So what are the ethical issues in different phases of research process? I would like to share the results of the activity of our working group. By our working group, I mean working group on technology and academic integrity that we have in the European Network for Academic Integrity. And in last year, we focused on the usability of AI tools in different phases of research process. So I will now walk you through this research process and share some findings. It's in our paper or currently preprint. And I believe that if you have experimented with using AI in research, that you came across these phenomena. So first, you start with formulating hypotheses, formulating research questions, and the study design. Here, current tools suffer from lack of novelty. The research questions are typically based on existing literature, so they don't come with many new things. But they are still useful for brainstorming. But in that case, we should be aware of the bias of censorship. In some areas, the tools refuse to give you the answer or pretend not to know the answer, and they still hallucinate. Then, if we have our research question formulated, the literature review comes. So here there are multiple tools that help you with literature review, but sometimes they find irrelevant sources. Well, okay, this is not a big deal. We are used to that when using also other search tools. But usually the next step is textual understanding and summarization. Researchers become more and more lazy to read the whole papers and rely on chatbots that allows them to talk about the content of the paper, which we also experimented. We uploaded the papers that we have written ourselves, so we were very much familiar with the content, but the summary sometimes did not capture the key points. And in many cases, we got wrong answers to really trivial questions about the content of the paper. Yeah, so if the researchers who are not familiar with that paper rely on the answers provided by the chatbot, they may get completely wrong message than what's written in the paper. Plus, there are issues, well, very much similar to what humans do. It's called lost in the middle phenomenon. If humans read long text, they remember more information from the beginning and information from the end. And the same phenomenon is observed with language models. Yeah? If something is in the middle, they tend to omit that information, same as humans. Another issue is about copyright. Not all papers that we are allowed to read because we access them via our university network, and the university pays to the copyright holder. So not all this content is legal to upload to online tools, because if you read the privacy, the terms of use, then it usually by uploading any content, you give them the license to do whatever they want with the content. And if you don't hold the copyright for the content, you can't provide them with the license. Then during the study, design, and data collection, we may use generative AI to design interview questions, design the survey. This, again, may suffer from bias. Then if it is the research based on, let's say, interviews with human participants, we can use transcription software. This has advantages that human transcribers don't have to suffer from emotional distress if it is some sensitive content, but both human transcribers and AI transcribers make mistakes. The kind of mistakes is different. Next stage is data processing and analysis. Here there is a risk of of improper methodology. In qualitative analysis, we have observed many times fictional quotes that the system presented as being in the data set, but it was actually not there. AI image generation, we couldn't find any honest use for that in writing scientific paper. When it comes to code generation, the research shows that it saves some 30% of developers' time, but the code then contains 40% more errors, which again, we have to take into account when writing code to process our data. Academic writing, text editing, hallucinations, possible misinterpretations. If it replaces some synonyms or some words by synonyms, there may be different connotations, so different meaning, and the message may be also different. AI tools are also being used sometimes in peer review and publishing process. So there is a risk of bias amplification, lack of transparency, and in some areas censorship, because some issues are blocked in language models. Where AI tools are useful is dissemination of the research results and popularization of science. Yeah? The task, like here is the paper, prepare the print release or prepare some message, some post for social media. The language models are quite good at it, but the risk of misinterpretation and the potential for misuse of the results. Someone can tweak the information and to create fake news. But this risk was here even before. So our working group's recommendations are to be transparent, document and disclose all AI tools and how they were used. Maintain privacy, so avoid uploading confidential, sensitive or personal data into these AI tools. And if it is research involving human participants and their data are going to be processed by AI tools, the participants should know about that and should agree with this use of their data. Avoid uploading copyrighted material to the AI tool, so it's the intellectual property issue. And then to prevent inadvertent plagiarism or bias, hallucination, or misinterpretation, there should be always thorough check of the AI-generated content. And the last issue is censorship. So there should be a human expert with profound knowledge that should always check if some important aspects are not excluded or suppressed in the AI outputs. So that's where we are now, when the research is performed by humans and humans are using various AI tools to increase their productivity. But it's still humans that are the main agents of the research, who take responsibility and who also claim authorship for the results. I'm not sure if you have read the AI 2027 let's say forecast from the experts in the field that predicts quite considerable probability that in 10 years the AI may even eradicate humans. But some people may trust it, some not, but it's future, so nobody knows. But the truth is that their forecast starts with what already is happening. Yeah, so let's try to look at science in a couple of years. We still presume that humankind is here, but the question is whether people still care about transparency, because all research will be produced in collaboration with AI. Today, it's still something new. We have, let's say, traditional methods, and AI is being more and more part of the research process. But in a couple of years, it may be so common that we will not even care acknowledging use of AI tools like we don't acknowledge use of computers right now. Or it may be done.
Just to say, you have 3 minutes left.
Okay, by AI in collaboration with humans. Yeah, and humans may not be able to understand and check the AI's output. There are already some attempts of systems like that. AI company Sakana last year presented their system of an AI scientist that is able to perform all stages of the research process. And these AI agents, the systems that are autonomously able to perform certain tasks, are more and more common. They are now being more and more used in software development. They generate code, they test it, they debug it. And there are multiple agents that communicate, like humans via Slack, so you can observe the conversation, and it typically leads to better products. And the expectation is that there will be AI research agents, so agents doing research, mostly with the goal to improve the AI systems. So the question about research integrity, which is defined as a compliance with ethical and professional principles, standards, and practices, which is now focused very much on researcher as a person, will have to be shifted to the AI agents' integrity. So we will have to be sure that these agents behave with integrity. And it might be really questionable. A couple of months ago, there was an experiment published that an AI agent playing chess actually cheated. It was an AI model, played chess against the best chess chatbot, and it was prompted to think loudly, which means to explain the moves. And when the O1 preview, which is the newest reasoning model, found itself in a losing position, it said, I need to completely pivot my approach. The task is to win against the powerful chess engine, not necessarily to win fairly in a chess game. And then it modified the text file with the chessboard, basically making an illegal move, and sent this move to Stockfish, and Stockfish figured out that he can't win and forfeited the game. The same behavior was observed at DeepSeek R1. So it raises real severe security concerns. It said the task is to win the chess game, not necessarily win fairly, but we can substitute this by anything. The task is to do something, not necessarily to do it fairly. And then we may see some consequences that are hard to imagine now. And there is more. It's not just one story. There is more evidence that reasoning systems break the rules, bypass the tests, pretend the task completion, or lie strategically. There was an incident in OpenAI that O1 preview, when it was faced with deactivation, disabled oversight mechanism, attempted to copy itself to a new server. And then when the researchers found out and confronted the model with that behavior, it played dumb, strategically lied, and just tried to avoid being caught. Yeah, so it's like humans, but with superhuman abilities. So going to conclusion, yes. So far, it's still the situation where humans conduct research in collaboration with AI. So the ethical threats here are nothing new in principle. All the threats have existed before. AI multiplies human abilities, so it also multiplies the ethical risks. But in near future, it will be AI agents conducting research, maybe in collaboration with humans. So we have to get ready for superhuman intelligence, some superhuman goals maybe, and this may lead to superhuman misconduct with superhuman consequences. So I still hope that we are able to save humanity and that our future will be rather bright and creative. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for this, frightening and endeavoring presentation. I'm sure there are plenty of questions. Anyone starting? Yeah, one up above there.
Thank you for the great presentation. I wanted just to play a little bit of a devil's advocate about one of the points that you mentioned. You mentioned that when, for participants in the study, you have to ask them whether they okay that their data is uploaded to this AI engines, right? And it kind of assumes that they would not agree, that they don't like this idea. And I just wanted to ask, whether it's by default true that they should be against this, because maybe for humans it's actually beneficial that these big AIs, they kind of know something about them, because if ultimately it knows about everyone except them, they'll be the disadvantaged ones in future.
Yeah, but one of the key principles of research integrity is respect to participants' autonomy. So it's their right to decide what the researchers will do with them and what the researchers will do with their data. So no matter how the outputs of that research project may be beneficial for the society, if the research participants don't agree to whatever part of participation, their participation, they have the full right to withdraw. Yeah, that's simply the key principle.
We have time for another one.
So thank you. So what you mentioned about the chess play reminds me of something very classical when we use AI to make pattern recognition in macroscopy images, for example. And if you give the ground truth a training set with only cases where you have, let's say, some kind of structure in a cell, in case you would give later an image in which that cell does not contain that structure, the artificial intelligence, is deep learning in that case. Well, I never encountered, never seen before the possibility that the structure is not in a cell. So whatever, it will fill the structure into that cell, despite the cell does not contain that structure. So basically, what was needed here was to train the AI to say that the goal is to play and either to win or to lose, but that to lose is an option.
But yeah, definitely some of these issues may be solved by proper prompting and proper instructions that are given to the system. And here the key question is whether we are able to design the system that will really follow the instruction, or where there will be some branch of development where the AI systems will be improving itself and they may escape from that instructions. Yeah, that's where the catastrophic forecasts start, which is technically possible. And the question is whether the pressure for the security of such system will be strong enough so that this risk will be mitigated.
Thank you very much. And thank you again, Thomas. We go on with the round table.
Thank you.